There we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. You are tuned into the Originals podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Big Mike. My other partner, my brother from another, Smooth, is joining me as well today. This is our second one. So if you want to check it out, feel free. We have a YouTube channel and we got an Instagram page. I'll link them hopefully in the description below. So if y'all want to check it out, feel free. So we're going to get into it. We're not going to waste too much time. Again, I'm Big Mike, my boy Smooth here. So we have a few topics that we're going to get into. I have a few that I'm going to bring up, but Smooth brought up a few. So I guess the first topic, obviously, is Matthew Stafford, obviously the football player. Rumors that he was looking to be traded. Now, apparently, the Rams are going to keep him now, that they restructured his deal. It's been a weird 2 weeks with Matthew Stafford. I was kind of surprised he was even on the market. So I'm going to throw it to my boy Smooth and get his take. So Smooth, what do you think about the whole Matthew Stafford, everything about it? Like, did you felt it made sense? Did you not feel it made sense? Like, where do you see it going forward in the future?
Well, actually, Big Mike, what I thought was it was leveraging, right? I knew for sure he wasn't going anywhere. You can't go from a system like the Rams and go to the Giants.
Yeah,
that's not going to work because you're used to winning. You're not going to go from Detroit where you lost to the Rams where you won a Super Bowl, and just because it's a little controversy with how much money you're making, I didn't think he was going anywhere. All they had to do was ante up and give him a 2 year, probably 2 year, $100 million. They're gonna pay him $50 million.
Something like that, yeah.
Because he has been good for the franchise. He has kept them in contention. And if everybody want to keep talking about it, they said they gave the Eagles the hardest go around in the playoffs. And people are saying if it wasn't snowing, that they could have possibly won the game and been in the Super Bowl. I don't agree with any of it, but I'm just telling you what I've heard and what they've been saying. Right. So for Matthew Stafford, I knew he was going to be a Ram. I mean, I don't think Cooper Kupp was going to be a Ram, but I knew Matthew Stafford would come back.
I thought it was interesting, like from the perspective of like, okay, you're going to move on from Matthew Stafford if you're the Rams, but who do you have? It's not like you have, like, who are you getting to replace him? Because you still have to have someone in the, like, they didn't have any backup. Like, if Stetson Bennett is the answer at quarterback for y'all, I don't see you guys compete. To your point, I don't think you're competing with Stetson Bennett as your quarterback. I think Matthew Stafford still gives you a window to win, potentially. I agree with everything you said, really. I think that it makes sense for him to stay. I don't see the Giants making sense. I saw like the Raiders, they were looking at that. I didn't think that made sense. To your point, I think Matthew Stafford's at a point where he wants to win and compete. The Giants are rebuilding. They have like league neighbors, but beyond him, they really don't have much else on offense. I don't know what else they have on offense that scares you or makes you think, oh, I want to go to the Giants, right? So I think him re-upping with the Rams makes sense. I thought it was, it probably makes sense that they were re-upping. I think they were trying to see if teams were going to bite and say, hey, let's go get Matthew Stafford. But teams are like, why are we going to get Matthew Stafford now in his career? If we were getting Matthew Stafford maybe 5 years ago, sure. Now, no. I think he's better off just staying as a Ram, retire as a Ram. They're probably, to retire his jersey and all that. So, because he brought him a Super Bowl. So I think staying with the Rams makes all the sense in the world. I definitely agree with you there. So we'll go to actually a topic that we discussed.
One more thing.
Yeah, go on.
Actually, the Raiders and the Giants were actually trying to offer contracts to him and call him.
And he probably said no? You think he said no?
But what happened is the Rams didn't think that they would get any kind of traction. But once they saw the Giants and the Raiders, all that speculation, then they came back to the drawing board with his agent and say, hey, let's restructure that deal and keep you here.
Yeah, because I did see an interview with Sean McVay, and he was talking about it. And he said, like, he wants to keep Matthew Stafford there and Matthew Stafford, but he's also talked about the realities of, hey, there's a possibility that, there might be an opportunity to move him, and you might be open to that depending. But again, if you're going to move on from Matthew Stafford, who realistically, you don't have anybody to back him up. Are you trading up in the draft to get Jackson Dart? You think Jackson Dart's going to be, what I'm saying? Like, what is your plan then if you're going to move on from Matthew Stafford? And to your point, it just seemed like, okay, we were just going to put him out there. We're going to dangle him out there. and see if anyone bites. And then to your point, people bought, and then like, oh no, we're serious. We're gonna. So I just think it was silly to do all that. It was a waste of time. I do agree with you. I think Cooper Cup's probably on the move as much as I think it would be nice for him to stay. I just think with the money, it makes sense for him to move. I mean, so going to Cooper Cup, I mean, where do you think realistically he would go to, or where do you think makes sense for him? I have a place. I'm thinking of one spot, but I want to get your take on where you think would go make sense for him.
I think he'll be good in a lot of places.
He would be.
But ideally, what I was thinking is the Ravens or the Bills. Because the Ravens need a possession receiver, and the Bills need a possession receiver because I don't know what's going on for Amari Cooper. So those are two spots that I thought off the top of my head that would be ideal places for him. But I still don't know about the Bill because he never played in a cold place before, I don't believe. So maybe that might take them out of the contention. But for sure, the Ravens, which is also cold in the Ravens, but in that structure, he could be that solid piece for Lamar Jackson, this kind of safety blanket.
Yeah. And I also think, too, they're not going to really slide coverages towards him because you have to kind of play the Ravens straight up. Whereas with the Rams, it's him and Puka Nacua. You can kind of neutralize both of them depending on your scheme. But with the Ravens, because they have Zay Flowers, Bateman, Isaiah likely, I mean, Mark Andrews might be on the move, apparently, I hear now. So, but you still got weapons on the outside, and then you got Cooper Kupp to the mix, who's going to be all in the intermediate. It makes all the sense in the world. I was thinking if, let's say, they don't keep the Chiefs, if they don't keep Hopkins or whatever, I know they'd have to probably rework his deal, obviously, because the money. If they were able to do that, I could see the Chiefs, but I don't know if the Chiefs feel they would need to make a move like that. I think it would fit-wise, it would fit, but I mean, to your point, I agree. I think there's a lot of places Cooper Kupp would fit. It would just depend on what team would be willing to pull the trigger, and I think also just contract-wise restructure where he'd want to go. But I think, and I mean, who knows? Maybe cold weather might be a factor for him. Maybe would he want to play somewhere cold, or would he prefer playing in LA? Because listen, if I've been playing in LA for so long, it's hard for me to want to then go trek all the way out East Coast in the cold.
Exactly. I mean, because the thing is, like you said, on the fact that Cooper Kupp is at a situation where he's just an essential piece.
Yeah.
That he can fit in a lot of different places. And I don't know, like Kansas City can't keep getting old in the older receivers, right? They can't continue to get old receivers because what's going to happen is it's going to become a routine, injuries and things like that, because Cooper Kupp has been hurt the last 2 years.
He has been, yeah. I agree.
So I think they're going to try to rely on Rice coming back, and they got Worthy, and maybe try to go younger and allow Patrick Mahomes to have that as his go-to guy, as opposed to bringing in another receiver, because Hopkins worked okay. But I'm not sure if that's going to be the same approach they take this year.
No, that's fair. I think my only slight pushback, and it's not really so much a pushback, I think maybe they feel like, okay, because Mahomes, we're in this window to still kind of win and compete. Do you want, I mean, I love young guys. I love bringing in young guys, develop the young guys, build them up. But are you in a situation where it's like, okay, do you want to bring in a young guy and he's made, like, look at Sky Moore, someone like a Sky Moore who came in, drafted, I think it was in the second round he was drafted. Everyone hyped up. Everyone thought he was going to just be dominant, kick ass, and it hasn't really panned out. I think he's flashed, but he hasn't been what everyone thought he was going to be. So she's like, you got to get a established receiver as opposed to getting a young guy. That's the only reason why I was thinking maybe they would try to maybe pursue Cooper Kupp, but then I don't think they will. I mean, I think the Chiefs will probably stay pat at receiver, to be honest. I mean, they might draft someone in the draft maybe. If a free agent comes up and they need to fill up a roster spot, maybe. But I think, to your point, I mean, the Ravens, I think, probably would make sense. The Bills, maybe. I mean, they just signed Shakir, but I mean, that's I think he's more of a little gadget dude or whatever. I mean, I like Shakir, but I think to your point, in terms of how they could utilize Kupp, I think it ultimately depends on what they do with Cooper. If they keep Cooper, then I don't see them going after Kupp. But if they let Amari Cooper walk, then I could totally see them going after Cooper Kupp, if anything. Also, the Commanders too, maybe. Maybe the Commanders might go and just re-up on receivers. Why not?
Man, but I mean, that's a good discussion with free agency starting March the 12th.
True.
So it's going to be a lot of interesting things and a lot of things we can talk about with all these different moves is going to happen in free agency because it's a lot of guys that are going to be on the move. So it's going to be really interesting to see with these pivotal guys changing positions and changing places. How does it affect the NFL landscape?
Right. Well, we can go into one of the moves we actually talked about last week. We kind of talked about a little bit. Our boy VO, his team, and for he's not here, unfortunately, again. We're going to keep we're going to keep talking about the Niners till his ass shows up. But that's here nor there. But we did talk about this last week about Deebo Samuel possibly looking to be moved. We talked about what his value. And last night he was moved to the Washington Commanders, I believe, for a fifth round pick. It's not official until March the 12th because that's when the league year starts. So smooth. You said this last week. Your little Nostradamus self right there predicted it. So what was your thought? What's your thoughts on the trade for both sides?
So I know from the San Francisco side, they were getting old and expensive.
Yeah.
Deebo contract is $21 million. So they actually had a report that they put possibly Deebo, which was on the trade block, and also possibly Aiyuk, even though they just signed him to a contract last year.
Yeah.
Once again, you talked about this last week, Big Mike, about the Brock Purdy contract.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looks like it's coming down to, even though I say the tipping point should be 40 million, not 60 million like that. Because
I would say 40. I would go 45 for
like 40,
Mr.
45.
Purdy. Yeah.
But as far as the Deebo move, Deebo is not a receiver to me. I keep harping in on that. He's a gadget player. And everybody, all the talk here is saying this is going to be great. Cliff Kingsbury is going to use him in a whole bunch of ways.
Hopefully.
But what is going to be the difference between the way Shanahan used him than what Cliff Kingsbury can use him? I don't see any difference. I mean, you got a dynamic quarterback, and you got another receiver on the other side, but you had more weapons in San Francisco than you do in Washington. I truly believe. And to me, like I say, he runs too hard, and he's probably going to get hurt again. It's good value for both teams because San Francisco wanted to get that money off the books because they're trying to save money because they got to pay Brock Purdy. And as far as Washington, they got the greatest cap space. They got $82 million. So they're taking a flyer on Deebo for $21 million and only giving up a fifth round pick. It's a win-win.
True. I mean, I think to your point, it's really going to come down to how they try to utilize Deebo, right? Because to your point, I think he was utilized the best in San Francisco. I think Shanahan's a great play caller. Kingsbury is a good play caller. I don't think he's innovative and all this other stuff that people want to say. I think a lot of the Commander's success is more attributed to Jaden Daniels. I give a lot of the flowers to him, not so much. I mean, the play calling, obviously, he's got to call, like, execute the plays that are called. But I don't think it's because Cliff Kingsbury was so innovative and was getting defenses off balance and all this other stuff. I just think that Jaden Daniels just played out of his damn mind. I'm curious to see how he's going to be utilized there in Washington. I don't know. I mean, to your point, he is more of a gadget guy. I mean, they use him. You know, the running game wasn't. I mean, it was okay last year. Wasn't the greatest. So I could see them using him as a running back, also in the receiving game. I mean, I think it just really boils down to how they decide to use him, and if they can take advantage of his skill set. I mean, that's going to be really the key. Hopefully, they can. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping. I think to your point, it's a low risk because you only gave like a fifth round pick. I mean, you're going to probably use that on like a kicker or a punter or some shit. So you might as well just, if Deebo Samuel's out there and he's a dynamic player, you need some juice on that offense a little bit because I felt like with the Commanders a little bit, they were so reliant on Jaden to make outworldly plays that sometimes like the offense kind of stagnated a little bit. So getting someone like him, and obviously you have McLaurin, who's great. I mean, I'm curious to see if they're going to try to go after another receiver possibly. Because technically, according to you, Deebo is more of a gadget guy. So should they go and get like an actual receiver, like a T. Higgins or something, or should they just, stay pat with their receiving core as is? I think that's kind of what I'm curious to see.
So that's interesting that you said Cooper Kupp, because Cooper Kupp would fit directly into that mix.
He would fit. And they got the money for him, so.
Yeah, and he would be that go-to guy, McLaurin the deep guy, Deebo the gadget guy. So to your point, when you said, should they go after Cooper Kupp, that might be an ideal fit.
That might be an ideal fit.
Because they're looking at their Super Bowl window because you're not paying Jaden Daniels. So they're trying to say, hey, let's strike now before we have to give him $65 million. Because by the time he comes out,
He's 65, yeah.
7, you know.
But because I heard that also too, they're not looking to maybe sign. They're looking to maybe trade or ask. They said that Jonathan Allen could look to go get
Yeah, he
traded.
said he seek a trade. Yeah,
Seek a trade, which is wild. Which is wild.
Not really, because
I like. I get your point from a money perspective, but just from I love Jonathan Allen, man. But I get it from a money perspective. You got to probably, I get it.
Yeah. So with Jonathan Allen, sure, he's a great guy for your front four.
Yeah.
But with this draft being so heavy in defensive linemen, defensive ends, offensive linemen, because it's not a deep quarterback or receiver draft.
No, it isn't.
It's a deep defensive end, offensive lineman draft.
True. They did draft a defensive. Yeah, I remember they did draft a defensive tackle last year. Newton from Illinois was really good. And there are going to be defensive tackles probably later in the draft where they're picking who might fall. Like I could see like a Kenneth Grant from Michigan or a Walter Nolan from Ole Miss maybe falling or in their lap, for example, where it's like if they're sitting at whatever pick they're picking at and one of those guys is there, I could certainly see them trying to maybe just, saying, okay, Jonathan Allen deuces, let's go, draft one of these young guys and give them, be on a rookie deal. But then it's like, okay, if you're Jonathan Allen, like where do you go? Right? Or who would want to? I mean, shit. If I'm Tennessee, I would be on the fucking phone right now trying to get Jonathan Allen. I love Jonathan Allen, but
I think Atlanta, who's been looking for pass rush,
they need interior. They need interior pass rush. Yeah.
So I'm thinking Atlanta. Of course, you're Tennessee Titans, but you guys already put a lot of money into that front four, though.
We have. I mean, we already paid Simmons. So, I mean, and we already paid. And, well, Landry, they apparently gave Landry permission to seek a trade, too. So,
but you guys have put a lot of money into that.
We have.
You have. So you guys want to go that route again and go into paying another defensive player when you have so many different holes?
God, I don't even listen. As far as right now, I just want the draft scenario to end. I just want the draft to end so we can either pick whoever the hell we're going to pick or trade the damn pick and just get more picks. Like I'm just tired of this waiting and seeing shit. But you know what it is? I just don't think that teams are like, oh my God, I really love Cam Ward or I really love Shedeur Sanders. Let's go trade up. Like I think they like those guys. I don't think they're in love with them enough to trade up to get them. But I think so. But I do think, I will say this, I do think probably closer to the draft, I think a team might probably panic and trade up.
Well, I look at it differently. I think some of the teams behind you guys are in desperate situations where they would trade up. The Giants are desperate.
They are.
The Jets are desperate. The Raiders are desperate. All three of those franchises.
Okay. Here's my question to you, though, because the Giants are picking third, right? So it depends on which quarterback they like.
But do it really? Do it really? Because they're 3. If the first 2 teams pick a quarterback, they're out.
But you're telling, okay. But you're okay. You're banking on the Browns picking a quarterback. That's what you're banking.
I'm just saying, like, if we look at the scenario,
you're right.
You're third. You're out of luck if there's only 2 quarterbacks.
You're right. I mean, and you're because if you're the Giants, you have to hope that the Browns take Abdul Carter.
Yeah,
right.
You have to hope that they take or the Browns don't take any of them, and you get your choice of it at 3.
Right. That is true. Which Tennessee, I mean, Tennessee's not. I mean, Tennessee's gonna, if they stay at number 1, they're going to definitely take a quarterback. I don't see them drafting Travis Hunter or anything like that. To your point, but then it gets interesting with the Browns because what do the Browns do? Are the Browns going to because they've been bullish about trading Myles Garrett for some reason. Like, well, we're not going to trade Myles Garrett, although Myles Garrett has openly said he does not want to sign an extension. He's not interested in signing an extension. And I think he's prepared to hold out the whole year. I don't think he will play for the Browns. I don't think he cares what they do. I think he just wants a change of scenery. And I think if you're the Browns, you just trade him. What are you trying to renegotiate for? And you have the second pick any fucking way. So to me, you have a chance to really, if you're the Browns, look at it. We could fix our roster up. You could have maybe 3 first-round picks possibly in this draft if you play your cards right.
But see, the problem is with that situation, it's like a post-June date that will have most of the money off the books for him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So if you trade him now, you're going to be eating up a lot of that contract on your books this year. So they're in a kind of a conundrum because you're only going to get the best value before the draft. After the draft, you're going to get peanuts.
Yeah, that's why I was saying
Let
you
him
trade
write
him
the check.
now.
But they're scared of their books because he's going to be on their books.
True.
After June 1st, it kind of lowers the cap hit that he's going to be on your books. So
Yeah.
you're kind of like in a conundrum, like I was saying, because you're stuck between the rock and a hard place. The draft is
Yeah,
in
no, I
April.
get that. But I think I think my solution or my thought is I understand the cap piece,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at it more from a standpoint of listen, Deshaun's already on your books. Your books are already screwed already. Your books are already screwed because you got Deshaun on your roster and you can't get rid of him, even if you wanted to, because no one wants him. So you're stuck with his ass anyway. I think you're in a window now or in a position now where you can actually you could trade Myles Garrett, you can get a shit ton of picks back, and you can really fortify your roster a little bit. Now I understand the book piece and all that, and you have to weigh that. But I think for me, I would be if a team is saying, "Yo, we'll give you 2 first-round picks, fourth in next year, in the fifth or whatever in 2 years, and maybe a player," I'm already doing the trade because for me, I'm like, we need to the thing with the Browns, they have talented players, but they need to infuse the team with talent, and I think they need to just move on. Myles Garrett needs to move on. They need to move on because Myles Garrett wants to win now. Like if he's going to go to somewhere, he's going to go to either like let's say where we talked last week. We said what we said the Lions, we said Philly, we said Washington, we said a bunch of other teams that are playoff teams. He's not going to stay with Cleveland where they're a dumpster fire right now. They're a complete dumpster fire. They're probably to your point. I'll concede what you said last week about worst run organizations. The Browns are the worst run organization right now because I don't understand why you're going to try to hold on to Myles Garrett for it. You don't want to trade him because they're not bringing up the cap piece, which I get. But to me, what are you keeping him to do?
Yeah.
Trade him.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say, even though it don't seem like it's buzz right now, as we get closer and these things start to change, teams are always those teams behind you that I said are desperate. They are. Mm-hmm. Their ownership wants to win. They've both been there like 5 years now, right?
Right.
So what's next? What's next up for him, right? And then the Jets, they got a new coach, but the organization wants to win. You know,
the Jets are hungry for winning, yeah. But I mean, they ain't winning. But the reality of it is, where they are, they ain't winning nothing anytime soon. They're resetting again because they have to. They had no choice. They took a swing at Aaron Rodgers and it didn't work.
What about the Raiders, though? You don't think they're desperate?
Who, the Raiders?
Yeah, they get Antonio.
Oh God, Pierce. Yeah, they've been desperate.
Antonio Pierce only give him 1 year,
basically.
Then you bring in
Pete Carroll.
You bring in an old guy who you already saw what they did. Like, it's like a repeat cycle of all these coaches they bring back. Pete Carroll, you got Brady in there. So Brady's used to winning. So they are desperate to win.
Yeah, I think
they would make a move. They tried to make a move last year to try to go get Jay Daniels, but it didn't work. Well, the Giants tried to trade as well, but they wasn't budging. So now you guys are in an ideal position to really make some changes to your organization.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys gotta be willing and wait patiently and then strike when you're supposed to.
Sure. No, I don't disagree with that. I just think, I think with the Myles Garrett thing, I think that's going to be huge because I think Cleveland kind of controls the draft a little bit because whatever Cleveland does is going to have a domino effect of what everyone else does if Cleveland obviously stays at 2, right? So because Cleveland can go quarterback or they can go defensive line, and I think either makes sense. Technically, you can rationalize it, but it's like, here's the thing. If Cleveland's going to draft a quarterback, do you really want to draft a rookie quarterback and then have Deshaun on your books still? Like, that's still going to be a distraction. It's going to be a shit show. Like, because, okay, when Deshaun comes back healthy, then what are you going to do with your second overall pick quarterback, hypothetically?
No, I think they need to go young, though, because the Deshaun Watson thing is a disaster.
No, it is. I don't disagree with you at all there.
I don't think he ever plays football again, personally, me myself. Not for Browns, at least.
I just, to your point, I would be shocked if a team said, you know what, let's go sign Deshaun Watson. I just don't see it.
So when you think about taking a rookie quarterback, that's what they need. They need an infusion of talent, newness for the organization.
Right.
You guys really control the draft because right now you guys are in control. So
we are. Obviously, we have the first pick, yeah.
Until you guys make a definitive decision whether you guys are trading or keeping the pick, what Cleveland does is irrelevant because what you guys do is really the catalyst for this whole draft. And I
Yeah, because
agree
I
with
mean, yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
you, Big Mike. I'm tired of the combine. I'm tired of all the
Yeah,
speculation. Just like when the Super Bowl is over. 2 weeks of nonsense.
it's
Or
nonsense.
then like all this time, you're doing the combine now for a draft is in April. You could have did the combine in March and then
Yeah,
had a
like
draft right after it.
yeah, I think the combine is just it's not a waste of time, but I just think it's like I watched a bit of Jalen Milroe's highlights of the combine, and it's like, okay, like what like I don't know what he is. I think he didn't do anything to move himself up or down. He's basically the same guy. The way he throws the football, he's inaccurate. He can throw the deep ball, which he showed at Alabama. He didn't do anything different at the combine. So it's like we're just having him run around just to show how fast he is, which we already could see if you watch the fucking film.
But maybe they're thinking Josh Allen couldn't hit the side of a barn, right?
At first, no, he couldn't. He
At
was his
first.
first. I remember. Listen, I watched his rookie year, Josh Allen, and I was like, "Gee." I mean, he listen. He could not throw the football. He was just running over people because he's 6'5" and 250 pounds, but he could not throw his first year.
So maybe they're looking at Jalen Milroe
Right.
as a project that they could turn into something that you don't have to pay a high pick for. Because until the Bills got Stephon Diggs,
I don't disagree.
Awful.
You told no lies. Now here's the question with that though, because they brought it up in during his I guess his drills and stuff. Like, are you going to be willing to be patient to develop Jalen Milroe? Is the question. Because to your point, I don't disagree. He definitely needs development. He has a skill set that he's with the right coaching, the right scheme, and all that, he could be good. But in the days of social media where we want these quarterbacks to come in to be the greatest, the GOATs of all time, are we going to give him 2 or 3 years to develop? But I think it also depends on where he's drafted too, right? So,
I mean, he's not going to be drafted to play right now, though.
I'd hope not. God, I'd hope not.
I mean, he's not even projected in the first 2 rounds. So it can't be in a position where he's going to be drafted to start.
He'd have to be
go somewhere where you already have an established starter who's maybe a little older, and you can lay behind him and learn. Because think about what Patrick Mahomes. He
sat his first year.
He sat his first year, started the last game, and then took over the next year.
And I don't think, and then to your point, if Patrick Mahomes started his first year, he would have been terrible. I don't think he would have been good at all because he was reckless at Texas Tech because he had to be because the team was ass. So I watched him at Texas Tech. He was not what he is now at all. He was out there just doing hero ball shit all the time because the team was dog shit. So he had to do that. And then he had to sit in the system and learn. And I think Andy Reid was good at understanding that and developing that. Now, with Jalen, it depends. Again, with coaching, like we said this last week. I think the theme of our pod last week was coaching and development. I think if I could say anything about that pod last week was about you got to get these guys in the right coaching fit and the right scheme. With Jalen, I think that's paramount compared to the other quarterbacks. If you put him with, I don't know, let's say a team that just has a history of not developing, he's going to be out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think the reason why Patrick Mahomes was successful is because of Andy Reid. Andy Reid, any other coach?
No.
Like a Pete Carroll or anybody like that, Patrick Mahomes will be garbage.
Yes. Or he would have been out of the league in probably like 2 years. Max, maybe 3. But he wouldn't be winning MVPs and Super Bowls and all this shit that he's done over the past 7-8 years without Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid is the biggest catalyst and rationale for him being as successful as it. I do not disagree with that at all. But again, how many Andy Reids are out there in the NFL right now?
Not many.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge. So we talked about it a little bit, but then Aiyuk, I did see this again, that Aiyuk is possibly on the block. He was injured last year, no?
Yeah, he got hurt early. It's not that he actually held out a little bit, didn't sign a contract.
Right.
Like, he didn't really have any kind of training before he started playing.
Yeah.
Dropping passes, and then he got hurt like game 3, something like that.
So then, okay, so he's on the block. So I guess the question now becomes, who else? Where is his market, or where is he going to go, or who's going to trade for him really now at this point?
Well, when he was on the block, him and Jaden Daniels played at Arizona State.
They did, and they were good. They were good together.
So Washington was in the mix, but if you Washington, do you go get 2.9 receivers?
Yeah, you got
two. That kind of cap hit, that would be kind of insane.
And and again, I said this last week. I would try to maybe make a pull or make a play at T. Higgins if he doesn't sign his franchise tenure or whatever, or his franchise tag. But so yeah, to your point, get 2 Niners receivers. I mean, why don't you just bring the whole damn Niners offense? So I think that's the
right.
Yeah. So I don't know. What about? I was thinking Jacksonville maybe, but they already have Christian Kirk and then Brian Thomas Jr.
Really actually, Christian Kirk is a free agent.
There you go. Maybe Jacksonville. I don't know. I don't know with Brandon Aiyuk. I like him, but I don't know where he would fit.
I think he'll fit in Atlanta because they have Jake.
Yeah, they have London.
They have London, right? Who's really a possession receiver.
Yeah.
You put Aiyuk as the, controlled deep threat.
Right. But they already signed Mooney to a long-term deal, I believe. Mooney's at a long-term deal. So
because Penix loves to throw the deep ball.
That he does. That's it. Listen, when he was at Washington, that was really his bread and butter was throwing the deep ball. He could throw all the other balls, but the deep ball was his bread and butter. So I don't disagree with you there.
Oh, how about Tampa?
Because I know Godwin's a free agent, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, another weapon.
Yeah, and I know they're looking at drafting a receiver anyway.
Yeah.
So
but the receiver pool is kind of small.
I mean, it's deep in the draft. I mean, there's a lot of receivers in the draft. There's a lot of good receivers in the draft.
But not like last year. Luther
Durden. I saw a mock draft where they had them taking Luther Durden from Missouri, who's really good.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. But to your point, do you want to maybe, hey, if you got the cap space, why don't you go get an established guy, draft the rookie too, get both. You already have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is going to basically have a statue outside for his ass because he ain't going nowhere. So you might as well. Or, they could go get it. But Tampa Bay also needs a tight end too. I think they
I got the ideal space. How about Pittsburgh? Because they need another guy.
Pittsburgh does need another guy. Oh, Aiyuk, yeah, I think that would be more of a fit. And I think I could see Pittsburgh doing that. Because I don't know if they necessarily want to draft another guy. I think they want to kind of get another established guy. Although, I like Pickens, but Pickens kind of a bit of a head case at times, man. Like I like Pickens, but he's a bit of a head case.
But bringing out you can bring some professionalism in, and that could help Pickens.
You hope so. Yeah, I think that would make sense. Because yeah, if you bring in another young guy with Pickens' ass, and then it would be a bad look. But Brandon Aiyuk's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs. He knows how to win. He's mellow. He's mellow. So hopefully that will rub off on George Pickens. Because Pickens got talent in the world, but he's just on some other shit sometimes.
Yeah, he is. And I agree with you 100%. But Pittsburgh has been starving for another receiver.
Yeah.
They got to get that quarterback situation. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. And that's one of the reasons why he didn't want to go there last year.
Yeah, because they're quarterback. They said, I think the GM or the owner said they want to bring back one of the quarterbacks. They haven't said who yet.
But what does that mean, though, Mike? What
does it mean?
What does that mean?
It just means that obviously they need a quarterback, and they have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields on the roster, and one of those quarterbacks is going to be on the roster. They're going to flip a coin. I think they're just going to say Thug Life, flip a coin, and then pick one of them.
But why do that to the organization, though? Right? Why even do that when you have both of them on your roster?
Yeah,
you could have just ended this and said, "Hey, we start with this guy."
But what the problem is? Like both played well last year, but then both struggled last year. So they're like, which one do we go with? If I had to, I would go with Justin Fields personally. He's younger. Agreed. I think you can kind of build around him a little bit more. Russell Wilson's fine. He's fine. It's not terrible. But I think if you're trying to move forward, I think you got to go young. And I think Justin Fields, you can build around him more so than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's old, man. He's done it all. He's good. Put him with the Giants. Let's go to the Giants or some shit. Let him go to Vegas. There you go. He can reunite with Pete Carroll and all that.
Pete Carroll.
There you go. Problem solved. Congratulations, Tom Brady. Fellow Michigan fan, I solved your problems. Go get Russell Wilson. Don't worry with Matthew Stafford and don't worry with Aaron Rodgers and his ass. Go get Russell Wilson. Because Russell Wilson ain't going to cause no problems. You know that already. He's just chilling.
Yeah, so when he was going through free agency and who was going to sign, I thought he was going to Washington. I thought he was going to go to Washington, play, and then be a congressman because he liked shaking hands and he liked politics. I thought he was going to be a congressman, but maybe his wife didn't want to do that.
Maybe wife was like, "Nah, let's go to Pittsburgh. Let's go to Pittsburgh instead of Washington." That's
makes no sense at all, right?
Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, but I don't know what the Steelers are going to do. To be honest with you, I would go with Justin Fields, but it would shock if they pick Russell Wilson. No. And then I feel bad for Justin Fields because he hasn't done anything really wrong. He's been okay.
And think about it, like Baker Mayfield got an opportunity.
He did.
Sam Darnold got an opportunity.
He did.
So why won't they give Fields an opportunity?
Because again, it's not like Fields was bad last year. They were what? They only lost one game when he started, I believe.
But he wasn't scoring touchdowns.
That's the thing. He wasn't throwing for 200 yards and he wasn't pushing the ball down the field and all this stuff. You know, ESPN be like Darren Orlovsky on the damn Jumbotron. Look at the pushing the football down the field and all this other nonsense, right? He was just winning games, which exactly. I thought that was a thing that you were supposed to do in sports, but apparently that's not enough.
Can you help me out with why do they have all these bad players and announcers on TV? Dan Orlovsky, you sucked. How can you commentate on anything? Like why do they have all these bad players on TV who wasn't good at their job? Now they are analysts and they know everything.
Like Joel Klatt for college football. I don't understand how he is like an analyst of college football. When I didn't, honestly, prior to him saying that he was the quarterback at Colorado, I had no idea that he was an actual player. I just thought he was just some random dude talking nonsense about sports. I don't disagree with that. I would like to see players who've actually like won or have some cachet to speak about sports, not Dan Orlovsky who ran out of the end zone. You know what I'm saying? Because they riz him about it, and he deserves to get made fun of about it because you ran out of the end zone. I'm trying to think about like Troy Aikman, that's fine. Tom Brady, fine. That's even right. Greg Olsen, fine. But then you got other guys who I'm like, can you get somebody else?
And I'm like, you are a professional analyst. Chad Henne, all these guys, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that, like David Carr? You got sacked 50 times your first year. He wasn't good at all, and you're telling me how a quarterback should look at defense?
Or was it Chris Sims?
Yeah,
Chris Sims out here was garbage as a quarterback. Sitting there talking how Zach Wilson is a great quarterback, and we who are criticizing Zach Wilson. And when he was with the Jets, are lost and we don't know anything about football. That's what he literally said when Zach Wilson was playing like complete and utter doo-doo juice. And he was sitting there talking about how, you guys don't understand football and blah, blah. Well, clearly neither did you because you didn't last that long in the league. Your dad did. Your dad was great. Your dad won 2 Super Bowls, great quarterback for the Giants. You had one playoff stint in Tampa Bay and you got ran out of Tampa Bay because you got a problem with John Gruden. So stop it.
I think something happened with his spleen, didn't it?
His spleen. His spleen got messed up, and then John Gruden was like, "Yeah, you kind of suck," and then they had a fractured relationship at that point.
Yeah, so that's what's really kind of like disturbing to me to watch these guys on TV, and I'm like, "How are you an analyst?"
I think there needs to be an infusion of players who actually kind of did some shit. Like I can listen to Tom Brady or talk because Tom Brady's obviously Tom Brady. So when he's speaking about like talking about the game and stuff, it's going to hold more weight. Even back in the day with John Madden and Pat Summerall, John Madden's a Super Bowl winning coach.
Madden was the guy though. Yeah,
and John Madden was the guy. He could break down film. So when John Madden spoke, it's a little bit different because he knows what the hell he's talking about.
They named a game after him.
They named a game, which is awful now. But back in the day was the shit. It was a great game. Love it. Now it's terrible. I will never buy it. But that's neither here nor there. But I don't.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny about Tom Brady?
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, when he was like that, they should let him play. And I'm thinking in my mind, when you were playing, if somebody touched you, you would be crying to the referee.
Of course.
So all of a sudden, you're an analyst.
He has changed his stance.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're an analyst. You want him to let him. You want the ref to let him play.
Oh yeah. No, he's done. Listen, since he's retired, he has been on this whole the NFL is soft and all this other stuff, which I think is odd to your point because was notorious for getting hit and looking back and pointing his hands out like, where's the flag? And again, Love Tom Brady as a Michigan guy, obviously, but can't mistake the fact that he used to do that on a regular basis to get calls.
And the fact that the tuck rule is because of you.
It is because
I don't want you saying anything about the refs. Stop it. Stop
it. Okay, so let's go on to
that tuck rule changed the direction of 2 franchises, though, man.
It did. It ruined
the Raiders were hitting to success and winning the Super Bowl. They never been back since that call. That's
no. They went back after. They did go back the year after. That was the year after because that was in 2001. They went to the Super Bowl the year after that, and then they fell off after that. So 2000.
But if they would have won the Super Bowl, that would have changed their whole organization.
It could have.
And the Patriots would have been left out because Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback and just signed a contract. It would have never been no Tom Brady.
He did get, and he did get hurt. He did get hurt. So actually, I did watch some NBA yesterday. Surprisingly, I was surprised myself. I watched some NBA. Paul George actually played decent against Golden State yesterday. He's off the podcast now. He decided I need to focus more and dial in on this NBA season, even though the season's almost done and you've done barely anything. And now you decide, hey, I shouldn't do podcasts anymore. I need to focus in and dial in. For what? Your team is not even in the playoffs anymore.
Embiid is hurt again.
Grimes played well. Quentin Grimes played great. He had like 41 points yesterday. But I don't know. I think they were asking about the process. Is the process over? I'm like, isn't the process been over? Like that whole Philly situation has been a disaster for 10 years. It had pockets of goodness, but overall it's been a shit show. And now it's even worse.
Yeah, the process is broken. It's been broken from the beginning, right? And the fact that they signed James Harden just really infuriated the fan base because he's not a winner.
You mean trading for him or signing him? You mean or trading for him?
Both. They traded and then they signed him after that.
So, they did. Yeah, I forgot they did sign him. Yeah.
So I got past the traded part, right? But traded for him and signed him for a guy that when he was in Houston, Game 7, took 0 shots in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he played. What do you have, like 12 points or some shit?
How are you supposed to be the guy you take 0 shots as much as you shoot in the fourth quarter? That's like sabotage to me.
Like he just didn't want to be there?
I would never want to play with him. And he changed the game. All that backstepping and traveling
he was traveling, boy.
He actually forced these young guys and these young players into doing those crazy moves, which are travels. And it's hard for me to watch now because step back is a travel. I don't care what nobody says.
I mean, listen, there was one, I think they showed a video of one of his step backs where this man took like 6 feet, like 6 shuffles, and then nothing was called. I'm like, wow, it's nuts. But no, I don't disagree with you. I think the Philly situation's a bit of a disaster. It's not even a bit of a disaster. It is a disaster. I mean, Embiid's hurt. I mean, Maxi's okay, but I mean, Paul George is, I don't even know which is worse, the James Harden signing or the Paul George signing, because you're stuck with that for the next 3 years of paying him damn near $200 million, damn near close to $250 million they're paying Paul George to do jack shit.
Yeah, bad signing after bad signing, though.
Yeah. I mean, but right now, I mean, you have hindsight with the James Harden one, so I can't, obviously the Paul George one, you still have 3 more years of this, which.
Even Embiid is horrible if you really think about it.
Yeah, I saw a thing where I pray to God. I mean, I'm sure this was just somebody trolling or whatever that apparently the Raptors are looking to trade. There was some buzz about the Raptors trying to trade for Joel Embiid. I'm like, for what? No, I don't want. Listen, I like Joel Embiid. I don't want him on the Raptors. No offense to Joel Embiid and his family. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't want him on my team.
Maybe the training staff you guys have in Canada. And
oh no! It's even still. Listen, we have a great training staff. We have a lovely. Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi Leonard could say that we have a great training staff, but I don't want him. I think Embiid is a great talent, but I think he's too injury prone. He's not, I just don't think he's like dialed in, and I just don't, I don't want him like to where he can play like 40 games. No, I'm good.
I agree, man, but you never know. I mean, these franchises are crazy. Owners are.
I think the Raptors will try to make a pull for like Giannis or some shit when Giannis becomes a free agent. I think they'll try to go in all in on him. I don't think they'll get him, but I think they'll try to go out and on him, not on Embiid.
He's destined for the Lakers, man, with Luka.
What do you mean? No, don't do that.
I'm just telling you.
Listen,
Okay.
I've also seen some Giannis to the Raptors. Like the Raptors are going to try to go for him as well. And listen, he may not care for the glitz and glamour of LA. They want to play with Luka's ass. He might want to come. Hey, Toronto's chill, just like Milwaukee. Toronto's a nice, bustling, beautiful city. So when it's not cold as hell, it's a beautiful city. It's chill. You know, he can come here. And listen, besides African, he's African. Boom, got that African connection right there. So listen, I'm not saying that he's absolutely going to come here. And there is a possibility that, hey, he might say, oh, I want to go play with Luka. So I can't argue against that. But I do think Toronto should make a play for Giannis, and I hope he does come here.
Let me ask you this question, though.
Sure.
So, if LA calls you and Toronto calls you, what are you going to do?
I'm going to listen to both calls. And listen, if I'm Giannis, you're asking, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, it will depend. I mean, listen, LA is LA. I've never been to LA, but I do want to go to LA.
You got to go.
I've definitely, that's on my bucket list. Before I leave this planet, I hope to venture to LA. I would, but then, and listen, LA is going to probably make a good pitch, and it's probably going to be hard for Giannis to turn down. Hopefully, Toronto can make a better pitch. That's all I'm saying.
I just know, though, once they made the Luka trade, they want the Lakers to be good. So they're going to.
Of course they do, yeah.
And they're going to surround Luka with talent, and people are going to be saying, how did they do this? How did they do that? Once again.
Well, listen, I mean, they had Mark Williams basically signed to just his build his physical. So,
but Mark Williams and Mark Williams versus Giannis.
Oh, of course. I mean, obviously, you're going to want Giannis. I think everyone is going to want Giannis. I am a drunken night away from making a Giannis Toronto Raptors jersey. So,
okay,
I'm just saying, if I get drunk one night and I decide to make listen, I want to make a Shea. Listen, I would love Shea to come home and come to Toronto if I could.
Yeah, if you guys get all y'all Toronto guys, y'all have a wonderful team.
Oh, it'd be beautiful. It would. Listen, if we could get Shea, if we could somehow pluck him away from OKC, I would be happy. I would be a happy man. Y'all already brought one guy back. The guy that played for Duke. Yeah, we brought RJ Barrett, but I don't know if he's going to stay because we'll see. Because he's on a long-term deal, but we already signed Brent BI, so I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to have to figure that out. That we definitely have to figure out.
That's a kind of a tough combination, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to. I mean, we just signed BI, so I'm assuming that they feel like it's going to be a good fit. With RJ, I mean, RJ was part of the OG trade, so.
You got quickly that can't stay on the floor.
And when Quickly plays, he's nice. It's just he can't stay on the floor. He's always hurt. Yeah. And obviously Scotty Barnes and all that too. So we just gotta, we gotta figure some shit out. Obviously,
Scotty Barnes is better than I thought he was going to be when he's at Florida State. I thought
Listen, I remember when we first joined the halftime, and the app that me and Smooth met on, and there was a lot of people who came at me and said, "Oh, you guys made a mistake drafting Scotty Barnes. He can't shoot." That's all I heard. Oh, Scotty Barnes can't shoot. Scotty Barnes can't shoot. Oh my gosh, it's going to take him forever to learn how to shoot. And oddly enough, in the midst of the season, he ended up, shooting pretty well. Because obviously he won Rookie of the Year, so I would assume that part of basketball is being able to shoot and make shots, and he was able to do that enough to warrant winning. So clearly the Raptors kind of hit it up.
I would have to go against you on that though.
That's fine.
That's not part of winning the Rookie of the Year, because I'm going to tell you a guy who couldn't shoot that won a Rookie of the Year.
Which is who? Oh, Ben Simmons.
Simmons. So I had to stop you right there. I had to stop you.
Listen. Scotty Barnes didn't make enough shots, in my opinion, to win Rookie of the Year. Listen, Ben Simmons. Yes, I will not disagree with you because Ben Simmons just didn't want to shoot. I don't think it's that he couldn't shoot. I just think he just said, "I'm not going to shoot in games. I don't want to shoot."
But that's weird though.
It is weird. I'm not saying it's smart or it makes any sense, because there is footage of him shooting threes in gyms and shit. So it's not like he
in the off season though.
And that's my point. So he can shoot. There's video evidence of Ben Simmons actually shooting a ball further than the paint. But he just in the games he's like, nah. I just think Ben just say, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And then against that series against Atlanta,
that was awful series. I think he was just checked out.
and he shouldn't have even been eligible to win the Rookie of the Year when he won it anyway, because he had
injured himself the year before, right?
Yeah.
So technically he wasn't a rookie, but I mean, they did that with Blake Griffin too. They did that shit with him too.
Yeah.
So the NBA is weird like that. It should. I agree. I think if they're rookie should be a rookie his first year, not he was hurt the first. No, he's
Yeah. If you was hurt your rookie year, you don't get an opportunity.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks for you. You come back the next year, you just work hard and whatever. But you shouldn't. I agree. I think if you're a rookie, you should be a rookie. I always thought that was a weird thing that the NBA did with that. I understood the rationale, but to your point, I never agreed with it. I thought it was silly.
Because I mean, you're technically been in the year and you understand basketball, you understand the flow.
Yes.
And then you're going against a guy who's just coming in brand new from high school that doesn't understand the flow and got to figure it out. But you get the advantage and you win the Rookie of the Year. It makes no sense.
Absolutely no sense. I don't know if you saw the Cleveland-Boston game that Cleveland is really good. I didn't realize how good Cleveland was. Like they were down damn near almost 30 points to Boston in the first quarter, and they ended up winning the game by 8 points at the end of the game.
But see, Cleveland has put together a great team though.
They have.
And then that trade they made for Hunter, who's a bucket, and is skillful, is really helping them because they needed that guy off the bench.
Yeah.
And the guy from Virginia.
Well, Ty Jerome.
Ty Jerome.
Yeah.
Ty Jerome is a stabilizer coming off that bench.
He is. Because he was playing well. And I was shocked because I was watching I was like, wow, Boston is kicking every part of their ass right now. It was getting bad. And then all of a sudden they start slowly coming back, slowly making threes, playing good defense. And I was like, okay, then they got the lead. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? But I also think Boston.
Yeah, go ahead. Boston is a jump shooting team.
I was about to say that.
They can get easy buckets, so you can always come back against them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
If they're hot,
they
might blow you out. But if they get cold, they can get easy buckets. Cleveland can. Cleveland has Evan Mobley.
Mm-hmm.
They can get an easy bucket.
Yeah.
So they have pieces on their team that can get easy buckets, and they don't have to rely on a jump shot. Because if you shoot a jump shot to try to take down a lead, you're going to always lose.
Yeah, because to your point, I think they shoot the most threes in the league, which I understand. But to your point, I mean, you can't just be shooting jump shots like that all the time and expect to hit them. Especially to your point against a team like Cleveland, who they could jump shot you, but they also have Evan Mobley and other guys who can get to the bucket and get points in the paint and get easy shots, as opposed to relying on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to make threes all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And White.
And Pritchard or whoever else they trot out there to make threes. Like I think that's tough sledding. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I think because initially I said this to a friend, like I felt like if it's Boston and Cleveland in a series, I would take Boston right now. I would take Cleveland. This was before the trade of Hunter, though, when I said this. Yeah. But now I would probably take Cleveland right now. Not because they're number one. I just think, to your point, the way their team is set up, Boston's in trouble if they got to play them in a 7-game series. That's all I'm saying.
Boston reminds me of Golden State with all outside shooters, no low post. No low post. And because of
they don't really have. I mean, Porzingis is shooting threes. Porzingis isn't even back to the basket anymore.
European basketball, everybody wants to do everything opposed to just playing your role. You know, if you're a power forward, be a power forward. If you're a center and you want to be a guard, it's a problem. But that's European basketball. You can play wherever. It doesn't matter. You don't have a position.
Right.
That's what you're starting to have in the NBA. When they had Al Horford could bang a little bit.
But he doesn't even do that now.
I know he can do it now, you know. But
yeah,
initially when they had him, he would bang a little bit and he could get an easy bucket.
You're talking about the first iteration of him. Yeah.
But now you can't get an easy bucket, so it's going to be hard. They can kind of overwhelm a lot of teams. But when you get a good team like Cleveland, maybe Milwaukee on some nights, you're not going to be able to overwhelm them.
No, because Milwaukee's even playing really good basketball right now too. I saw the football parts of the Mavericks right now, who just looks like they clearly miss Luka. I'll just say that. I'm just gonna say that they miss Luka for sure.
They missed the guy they traded for, Anthony Street Clothes Davis. So that's
because
Anthony Street Clothes Davis. So you get a guy, he plays one game and he in the street clothes again. I just don't understand. How do you, as an
What is he coming back? Is he coming back? What is he coming back?
I don't know, man. But how do you, as an organization, trade a 5-time
Yeah.
All Pro, right?
Yeah.
And you trade him to LA
Yeah.
for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. Not 2 first-round picks.
I would have listened. If I'm trading Luka, I'm getting 3 or 4. I mean, look what Paul George got for the trade with when they went to OKC.
And don't get me wrong, Max Christie is playing great for Dallas. He's playing great basketball.
Yeah, he's good. He was playing good yesterday.
But when you got the other guy in street clothes, it looks like a horrible trade, which it is.
Listen, if I'm trading Luka or a player of that caliber, I'm asking for a haul. I'm not trading one-on-one because to me, it's basically like Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. Yeah, the other pieces are there, but that's really what everyone's focused on is Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis. Luka Doncic is playing great right now for the Lakers, and Anthony Davis played 1 game and got hurt and hasn't played since.
But see, this is why they didn't get much. Nobody knew he
knew exactly. That's why.
So it was a kind of
which was stupid.
A back alley deal where you gave the person you shook hands when nobody watching.
No, watching exactly. That's because again, if teams had known, obviously, and to me, it would have put Dallas in a better position because you could have, if you wanted to reset your franchise, go ahead. But I think I read something where Nico Harrison said, "Well, we're not focused on the next 10 years; we're only focused on the next 3 or 4," which is not a good look. That's not a good idea. That makes no sense.
How does that happen when nobody knows? With the internet and social media, how does that happen?
It was just, I think he just had it in his mind. He brought it to the owner. He didn't he just said, "Yeah, I want to trade Luka." Initially, I think the owner laughed in his face at first, and then he's like, "Oh, you're serious?" And then he probably said, "Listen, I can, if we trade for Anthony Davis with the size we have, when we have Kyrie Irving and we have Klay Thompson, we can go win, and we'll just trade Luka."
On the phone, like, really? In their mind, they didn't say it. Okay, let's get this paperwork done. Send it over to me. Nobody needs to know. Let's keep this private. And then we wake up. Luka traded to
the Lakers. Yeah, like that's literally what I think. That's what it was. Like I think Nico probably had an epiphany in his mind. He said, "You know what? Let's trade Luka." Like in my mind, I initially, like I said last week, I think I didn't defend the trade. I could slightly understand it if the rationale is, okay, we don't want to give this guy $70 million a year because you're concerned about his conditioning and all that. If that's your rationale, fine. My problem is if you're going to go trade him, get the farm, get like picks and actual adequate players. Don't trade him for one-on-one basically for a 31-year-old guy who's constantly hurt. If Anthony Davis was like healthy and all that, then okay, fine. You're trading for Anthony Davis who was constantly injured. Like there's a history of being hurt. So you're trading for a guy who's probably not going to play that much for your team. I just didn't understand that rationale. Like that part is where it bugged me out. And then, because to me now with Nico, he got 1 year. You got 1 year, bro. You better get us into an Eastern, because they were in the finals last year. That's what he's working against. You were in the finals last year. So if you're asking us to now downgrade and trade our guy, you better get us to the Western Conference Finals, the NBA Finals, or win the championship. If none of those 3 things happen, you're gone next year. And we're just going to reset, in my opinion. If I'm owner, that's what I'm telling them. You got 1 year to make it work. We're not giving you no 3 or 4 years. 1.
That's kind of a lot of pressure and kind of hard, though.
Hey, that's what happens when you trade a 5-time NBA All-Pro and you get a decrepit 31-year-old Anthony Davis in return. You get 1 year to make it work. Because he said defense wins championships. No, that's what he said out of his weird mouth.
But it was kind of crazy and odd to see them get there last year. Be honest about that. Right?
What, the finals?
Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't picking. I honestly was picking OKC. That was kind of my thought. That
OKC or Phoenix, right? Or Phoenix.
Yeah. But my pick was OKC. That was who I was thinking that was going to win, and yeah, it was a little bit surprising, but I think they had a lot of size and all that. But and Luka played great.
and they played Phoenix, who don't play defense.
And that part. That helps too, because Phoenix, Phoenix is just a complete. Phoenix is probably in one of the worst situations too, because they're completely stuck.
Teaming up 3 guys. Bradley Beal has been a wash. Devin Booker's playing out of his mind. KD plays sometimes.
And I mean, you can't trade Bradley Beal because his contract, I mean, he has a no trade clause, so he can only decide where he wants to be traded. And he's getting $57 million next year, which is crazy.
Should have left him in Washington. Should have left him in Washington.
You should have left him in Washington. Yeah. I mean, if I'm KD, I mean, if I'm Phoenix, you got to trade KD. He's the only one that you could realistically trade. But then it's like, as great as a player, yeah, what are you gonna get? Like, as great as KD is, like, who's like, oh my God, we need KD. He doesn't want to go back to Golden State, which is fair. I wouldn't want to go back to Golden State either if I was KD. Been there, done that. Where else is he gonna go? I don't like where go to the Lakers maybe? I don't know. Put him with LeBron.
No.
Make the trade. Do it, Lakers. Do it. I dare you. Rob Pelinka, I dare you right now.
It's gonna be Giannis, man. I'm telling you.
Watch. Go get KD. Go get him.
Like I told you about, like the Myles Garrett. I'm telling you, Giannis is coming over the summer. I'm telling you. Watch.
Go get him, Lakers. Go get LeBron and KD to match together like Voltron and go win another. Go try to win a championship. You got Luka there. You're great.
We're gonna be talking about the finals, and they're gonna be talking about free agency, and then it's gonna pop up on your side. Giannis to the Lakers. And I'm gonna say on March the 2nd, I told you this. You wasn't a believer.
I never said I'm a believer. I'm just saying y'all should just go get KD because where else is he gonna go? I don't think there's another team that's dying to go get KD.
Go back home. He go to Washington. Go back home.
He's like, I think Carmelo did say he should go to Washington. And I'm like, no.
Go back home. Be close to his family. You know?
He doesn't want to do that, dog. He
can go back to OKC. Go back to OKC.
He can't go. I mean, listen, OKC. I mean, they have the picks.
They need a veteran.
Listen, technically, OKC has a shit ton of, but I'm not trading none of my young core though. That's the thing. I would just give them picks.
But they need a veteran, like we talked about.
I don't know if they need a vet. They got vets, man. They got Caruso. Caruso's a vet. They got Harkenstein. Harkenstein's a vet.
Stop it.
I'm not stopping that. There, you said they need vets. They got a vet. Caruso.
We talked about this last week, and you said Caruso, and I laughed at you. Like, stop it, man.
No, Caruso's not a. Stop it, bro. We're not doing. We can't listen on this pod. We're gonna be honest. We're not gonna do. You said vet.
Is not the kind of vet you need.
What vet do you need? They already got scoring.
KD.
They don't need KD. That's what they got saved for.
You need somebody that won a championship. They have nobody on their team that won a championship.
Caruso won a championship.
With who?
The Lakers.
Oh, you talking about that backdoor championship?
It don't matter. It's still a championship. It doesn't say backdoor. Does it say that on the ring? Does it say that on the 2020 championship ring?
It might say COVID. It might say COVID.
It doesn't say COVID. It doesn't say COVID. It doesn't say nothing. It says all you crazy psycho Laker fans will just say it's their championship ring. It doesn't say nothing. And
I'm a Lakers fan, but you don't see me claiming it. It's a COVID championship.
It don't matter. You just listen. We should replay what you just said. You said you need a vet who's won a championship.
Yeah,
Russo's two of those things. Okay, what else? What other criteria of vet do they need? Please.
What did Caruso do last year?
It doesn't matter, bro. No, don't do that. You just said what they need. I'm telling you what they don't need. KD,
right?
What did he do last year? He was he hurt? I don't remember if he was hurt or not. I felt like he didn't play as much.
Did he affect Did he affect that series OKC loss?
No, but I don't think he was with OKC last year, was he?
Yeah, he got traded in the offseason.
Last year? Or is it this year?
Yeah, Caruso been on that team.
Right, because Josh. Okay, yeah, you're right. Because Josh Giddey, okay.
So let me ask you this though, right?
Go ahead.
So how impactful was he to teaching them how to win when he got bounced in the second round? That's the number one seed.
I think he did okay. He didn't teach him anything. But you said, listen, I'm going off what you verbatim said. You said they need what? They need veteran leadership. Ideally, who's won a chip.
Let me change it there.
Okay, go ahead.
They need a veteran who's impactful in a championship.
Okay.
That can show them the way on how to win.
Okay.
Caruso wasn't impactful, so we can X him out. So now you bring KD back.
KD is like, listen, they don't need KD, bro.
He's won 2 championships, right?
That is, yes. He's won 2 Finals MVPs as well.
So
you want to go down his resume? Yeah, he's won 2 Finals MVPs too. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And you bring him back to where he started. Help out all the young guys.
How is it going to help out the young guys when he's going to eat up all their minutes?
He's not.
Yes, he is. You're not trading KD and have him coming off the bench. Was he a 6th man now?
Who's that three? Who's the three? Who's the three for them?
I believe. Okay, I think it either is. I believe it's Dort is the three. I think Jalen
No,
Williams plays the
it's
two. I think it's either
yeah.
Jalen. I think Jalen Williams plays the two or the three.
So
You're gonna put Jalen Williams out the bench when he's balling the hell
no,
out.
you put Jalen Williams to the two guard, sit Dork down, put KD to the three. There you go. Dork can come off the bench, and then you have multiple scores. You don't have to have so much pressure on SVJ. Take the load off him a little bit. Williams can score, and then if you got the second unit and KD on there when they rest, you got a legitimate score out there, so you don't have no drop off. It's making sense to you now. It's going around in your head. I know it is.
It's not making sense.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
It's not.
It's thinking.
They're not. No.
You're thinking.
No.
It makes sense. What I just directed to you. It makes sense.
No. They're not going
It
to.
does.
No. I think
so,
KD.
So what I said that wouldn't work.
I don't think KD wants to play second fiddle to somebody else.
At this point, he's playing second fiddle in Phoenix to Devin Booker. So,
well, you're saying Devin Booker is the best player on that team right now, or it's not KD?
Devin Booker's the go-to guy.
But KD's the best player on the team, though.
That's Devin Booker's team. Flat out, we all know it is. Okay. It ain't KD's team. It's Devin Booker's team. So he already playing second fiddle. And wherever he goes, he's gonna play second fiddle. Was he playing second fiddle when he went to Golden State? Was he the first option?
No, he was second. He was probably second fiddle.
So he's been playing second fiddle for a while.
I mean, I guess the only place you could say that he didn't play second fiddle was maybe Brooklyn. He was probably first fiddle, but he didn't want to. But I don't know if he necessarily wanted to be first fiddle there. I don't know. I think he may have wanted it at first, and then it just went all to shit, and then he didn't want to be there. So
he's been playing second fiddle for two different organizations. So why can't he play second fiddle there?
I don't think he wants to do that right now. Listen, I think if KD wanted to leave Phoenix, he would have already left. But I think Phoenix,
It's not his choice.
I agree. I think Phoenix should just trade him right now. I think not Roberts right now, but I think they need to look at trading him in the offseason because the team is just not that good.
So what I said is making sense.
They're not going to trade him to OKC though. I don't think
because he's been second fiddle though.
He has been. I'm not saying he hasn't been second fiddle.
Where would he go? Where would he go to be the top?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know where he would go.
No,
probably no. I don't know. I mean,
Washington.
I mean, listen. If he wants to go to Washington and they could suck ass forever, then yeah, he can go to Washington.
How about Toronto? Would he be the top guy in Toronto? I had to do that.
Would he be even? I mean, he would probably be the de facto first guy in Toronto. Yeah, and he has said good things about Toronto. I don't know if he necessarily come here and play. But he has been. He would. I mean, Scotty Barnes would probably have to defer to KD. I would think so. Yes.
That was a good transition over to Toronto, wasn't it? That was a good transition. Right?
But I don't know if that would. But then you got BI and him. So you got friggin' Kevin Durant. Then you got like bootleg Kevin Durant, basically. Like BI is kind of like the similar skill set, similar size, similar the way they play. So I don't know how that would.
Not skill set though. Not skill set.
Well, I mean, obviously, KD's skill set is a lot more advanced than BI's. I'm not saying that BI is exactly like a carbon, like a little bit of a clone, a slight clone, not a full clone.
Yeah, slight.
Like like Bizarro Man, Superman, kind of like that kind of clone. Okay,
I agree.
Okay, well, you know what? Let him go to Washington. You know what? You know what? I'm going to say. Let's say let him go to Washington. Let KD go to Washington. Go back home. Because I also think, I just think if you're going to get KD, I don't know if he's going to play his role in OKC hypothetically. Right? Like, I think he's going to want to be the guy to some degree, even though
they're winning.
They are winning, and that's why I don't think they would make that move because they're winning.
But that's what Golden State did.
Well, they're not the same. It's not the same team. It's not the same thing. It's not the same. So, Draymond was in his feelings after they lost the finals, and then they're like, "We need to get KD," and that's how that thing happened.
So, do you think OKC is going to come out the West?
I'm picking them to come out the West. Yes.
You think they learned something from last year?
I do.
Second round.
I would hope. I hope so. Yes, because I'm picking them to come out the West. So yes, I do think they learned from that experience. And I mean, I will say this: I watched them against Minnesota blow 20-point, like almost a 16-point lead
Yeah, that
and
was
lose
that
that
was
game.
that.
So that concerns me a little bit, absolutely. But I hope that they have taken from last year's experience, they learned from it, and they're able to progress. And I mean, Shea's the MVP. I think we agree that Shea's the MVP of the league, or we're gonna.
He was the MVP last year. He didn't give it to him.
So is he okay? But I'm saying right now, I would pick out Shea. Shea is my MVP.
But all that stuff is politics.
I know. But I'm saying, listen, take all that away. Who's your MVP of the NBA right now?
SVP, he was last year. So
okay. I just want to make sure we're at least can agree on that.
Yeah, I was stunned that they didn't give it to him.
I was stunned too. I was very bothered that they gave it to I think the Jokic, right? Jokic got it last year, right? Yeah, I think that Shea should have won it. I know that people were like trying to say, oh, well, if you look at Jokic's plus minus and all this other stuff, but like Shea is the MVP. And if he doesn't win it this year, then I'm going to be really pissed off because I mean Shea has done everything, and his game is even elevated even more than it did last year. So I don't know what more you want him to do.
Do you think that? I think Minnesota as well as Denver is a bad matchup for them.
Yeah, I think those two would be. I think Minnesota more so than Denver. I think they could probably beat Denver. I think Minnesota would be a little bit of a tougher matchup because obviously when they played Minnesota this season, the back-to-backs, it was a little bit, because even when they were leading, I mean, they did come back. Like eventually they were able to hold Minnesota off. The second time Minnesota came and they beat them and they had the lead. So Minnesota's it's going to be a tough out for them if they have to play Minnesota. I think Denver, they could maybe go 7 and win. Minnesota, I could see them losing that series.
But I think Denver's playing better basketball. They had a couple injuries.
They are. I mean, Russ and Jokic, that has worked. Hey, KD, go to Denver. Go to Denver. Why not? Just put him in Denver. Just plop him wherever. We're seeing him plop him.
You saw Carmelo in Denver. That didn't look too good. So now you saw AI. You saw AI in Denver. That ain't look too good. No. So let's keep.
we don't want to put a ball dominant scorer out of Denver.
Ball movement, man.
Ball movement. I got you. All right, so we'll transition from basketball to the boxing match that happened yesterday between Tank Davis and I can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head.
Last name was Roach.
Roach, yeah. That I did see like the lead up to the fight. I didn't see the full fight. I did see highlights of the fight. Did see that it was a draw, which surprised me. I wanted to get your take because you were the one that brought up this whole idea of that. So what was your overall take on the fight?
So I think that Tank underestimated this guy, and he was in his grill the whole time.
I 1,000% agree. Yeah,
it was a couple of, like cheap shots that Devontae did. He hit him with his shoulder one time when he was clinching, and his chin. He was holding his gloves down and trying to punch him. So I think he was in there and got shocked that a guy could stand up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of those rounds, he took a knee.
Yeah, because he said something was in his eye.
But when you take a knee in boxing, that's an automatic count.
That is it. Yes, that is usually the rule. Yeah, that I remember.
So they didn't give him any kind of count.
Mm-hmm.
The boxer, Roach, was complaining, and his team was complaining as well. But if you change that round to 10-8, he wins the fight because you called it a draw.
Yeah.
And that pivotal call right there actually changed the outlook of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think Roach really won that fight. I've seen a lot of questionable things that Devontae was doing in the ring, and Roach was just standing there taking it and hitting.
What I will say, I do agree. Yeah.
I've never seen him get hit that like that before.
Mm-hmm. No, what I will agree with you on 100% is I think he was not. I don't think Devontae was expecting Roach to hit and be able to take those punches because usually Devontae's usually used to like just knocking dudes down and they're stumbling and they're feeling it. Like Roach stood up, took all those punches, and I think that kind of he was a little bit like, oh, whoa, yeah, he's not. Oh shit, and then it kind of got deeper. And I kind of had I loved the lead up to the fight because they both were talking their shit and it was great. I mean, obviously there has to be a rematch. I don't think there's any debate that they definitely have to do a rematch. And again, now that I've seen Roach fight, I mean, I'm like, to your point, I mean, Roach could definitely beat Tank now that I've seen it. Like, it's not before, if you were to say before the fight, I picked Tank. I thought Tank was going to absolutely win the fight. Now, then the rematch, I'm not so sure who I would pick, to be honest with you right now. If I had to, I don't know. Like I could see if Roach wins the next fight, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, and actually they sparred against each other.
I saw that they used to spar back in
So
the
they
day.
actually know each other. So I didn't know why Tank would start off slow if you know this guy. But that's probably when you were younger, so you don't know.
But I think to your point, he took him lightly.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't. I don't think he thought he's like, oh, I boxed this dude, whatever. He ain't nothing. I can knock him out, and it didn't take because Roach stood up there and he just held his own. So I mean, I can't wait for the rematch for sure. The rematch can be good. I think that's gonna be good. I'm gonna definitely want to try to watch that fight for sure because I like Tank.
Yeah, you're in Brooklyn, right? And in Brooklyn, they're gonna tell you the truth. So they were all booing because they know he lost that fight.
Yeah, I think also too because. Yeah, to your point, I think that's probably some politicking too, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's probably politicking in that case because I mean, even though to your point, there was a part in the fight where I think Roach hit him with I think he countered a punch and Tank was stumbling.
Yeah, he did.
Like I saw he stumbled,
yeah.
and I think I might have seen Tank stumble maybe twice in all the fights I've seen him be in, right. And that was the third time I was like, oh wow, he really got hit because he hit him flush, dead in his face.
Correct.
So. I mean, that's gonna be a good fight. I mean, hopefully they're gonna get the rematch soon because that was a really good fight yesterday. But it sucks that obviously it wasn't a draw because I hate draws. I hate ties.
Yeah, I mean, I was asked a lot of people like, if you take a knee, that's an automatic count, and that changes to a 10-8 round because that's a knockdown. So if you really call the fight the right way, judge. That 114 and 114 would have been 115 and 113. And he wins that fight. Majority decision.
Well, I think now going into the next fight, I think Roach is going to have to knock him out now because if it gets to a judge's decision, I think that same stuff's going to happen. So I think Roach is simply put, just going to have to knock his ass out and he's going to win the fight.
But if he goes that route, he opens himself up.
Yeah.
To get knocked out.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
It's a tough position.
But here's because to your point, let me ask you a question. If it goes the same way, like the second fight, let's say, goes how this one went, where it's like nip and tuck, who do you think they're going to give it to? They're probably going to give it. I feel they're going to give it to Tank, just off reputation, probably.
I agree.
Unfortunately, even if let's say it looks like Roach was the aggressor and won.
If the referee just calls it the right way, we're not even having this discussion, and that's the thing that I just.
That's the thing.
That's the thing about sports is like. Other people control the outcome opposed to the people that are the participants. Players control the game, not referees. Not referees. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So you know how those alerts come in.
You got those alerts. You got those alerts. You got kids missing out there.
Yeah.
So no, I agree with the referee piece. I mean, definitely, even like with most sports, I mean, it's always like the outcome. Even with baseball, apparently they're looking to get like mechanical umps calling balls and strikes now. They're getting rid of the people. So they're doing it in the major leagues right now. They're instituting it probably in the next year or two. It's going to be mechanical umpires or machines calling balls and strikes. And they're going to have.
I think they also said something about football with the eye in the sky for the first down.
Yeah, I mean, are we doing too much now? Are we doing a little bit too much?
I mean, they already made football kind of passive anyway. You can't touch anybody, so I don't.
Basically,
I mean,
so basically glorified flag football.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised if they did women and men football. You know what I'm saying?
They might as well.
I mean,
with baseball, because baseball now, they've done all this technology stuff to make the game quicker and all that. But I think now, because now you can they're gonna have it where you can challenge balls and strikes. They're gonna make the game longer now. You can challenge up to 2 times in the game.
It's basically you're kind of counting what you did to make the game faster.
Yeah, because if I'm if I see a egregious strike call, I'm challenging that shit. And you know how challenges take a million years. So now it's going to make the game longer now. So all that effort you did to do the pitch clock for the pitchers, which I thought was a great idea, which sped the game up. Now you're going to eliminate all that now because now coaches are going to be challenging all this shit now.
Yeah.
And then the mechanical stuff is I don't know how that's going to work because you're now leaving it out of the people. And I mean, obviously umps make mistakes. I get it. I mean, listen, I think it's hard to call balls and strikes as an ump anyway. I don't know how they even do it because the ball's coming at you 100 miles an hour and you got to make a split decision on whether it's a ball or a strike.
But I really applaud baseball for making changes in the game.
Me
Unlike
too.
basketball, right? The NBA try to bring up like a kind of college tournament in the NBA mid-season.
With the NBA Cup, right? I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
do.
Like
I don't understand. Do you understand the purpose of the NBA Cup? Okay, so it's not just me because I was
I
going to
don't
ask you what the
understand.
purpose of it is.
I don't understand the NBA right now, right? Because
Go ahead.
you need to cut the games down to 68 so it can be more competitive. The
Okay.
first round should be 3 games. That means
Wow, was
everybody
back in
got
the
to
day
play. The second round should be 5 games,
and 7.
and then 7. And that way, a team that can upset you because you're not going to really upset nobody playing 7 games,
All
5 games
rounds.
like that. Normally, the
Yeah,
best team is going to win. But if
yeah.
it's 3 game series, 1-1-1-1, that's exciting basketball.
I mean, look at it back in the day when it was 5, right? Like back in the 90s. Like I remember the what was it when Denver was the 18, they upset Seattle, who had the #1 record in the NBA, and they upset them in
And
5.
then Golden State beat Utah.
Gold State beat Utah in 5, right? So there is truth to that, I think, in terms of that aspect of making it more competitive and making it more compelling in terms of that. I think that's a way to kind of maybe solve the playoff piece. I don't know how you solve the competitive part because that's more of an eternal thing that players have to have. But I
But
think that would,
if you
yeah.
take it down to 68, and then you find players for missing games.
Mm.
So
Like
now,
missing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
yeah, for that management,
Load management,
not
right?
playing back to back, because before guys would play, they would only miss if they was really hurt. These guys are just taking days off
Because
for
they don't
no
want to
reason.
play. Because they just don't want to play. Yeah, I
And you
agree.
got all these people coming to the game spending their top dollar for these games, and you come there and Embiid, who you wanted to see sitting on the bench, Paul George,
And
who you want to see sitting on the bench, Kawhi Leonard, who you wanted to see sitting
she's
on the
sitting on
bench,
the bench. Yeah.
just because, not because they really
Yeah.
hurt, just because.
And I mean, to your point, I mean, because the argument people would say to your point would be like, well, if you cut down the games, then it's going to cut down the revenue, blah blah blah. But yet you already signed a $1 billion whatever deal with Amazon, no, or whomever, like $100 billion deal. So the money is there. So it's not like you just move the money around. You could do it in a way where, yeah, you can cut it down to 68 games, make the games more compelling. Because the allure of the NFL has and always will be because the games actually matter because it's a shortened season, right?
Yeah.
With baseball, it's harder because it's 180, 62 games, but their money is ridiculous, and I don't think they'll ever. I think apparently I saw a report that they're looking to maybe do a work stoppage with baseball because the CBA
Oh
is
yeah,
about
they
to
said
expire
strike.
soon. So
Yeah.
they already said they're gonna strike, which is nuts. But I think I think with baseball, the money's probably out of control now. And I think they're trying to, what the Dodgers are doing. I think a point we made last week about what the Dodgers are doing, which isn't illegal. It's within the rules, but it's kind of ruining the game because, bro, they've deferred. I think they deferred like 6 contracts, which is insane to me. So what's the point of signing a guy to $100 billion deal? You ain't even paying him that. You're paying him like
Yeah. I
$2 million.
mean, it's baseball's out of control.
Yeah.
But going back to the basketball
Yeah,
situation,
going back, basketball, yeah.
the 68 games would actually you would make more money because more people would come because
More
it's
people would come.
meaningful basketball.
It would be meaningful basketball. And I think the guys, I would hope that would help with the competitive aspect, and the guys would want to be more like, hey, no, we got to play, we got to be, because we got to win,
and change it back to the top 8. Forget this 9 to 10 seeds. No.
Yeah, let's keep it the top 8. I think they're
top
just doing
8,
too much.
Top 8, 68 games, and now you put a situation where you start off 2-24, you're in trouble. But the thing is, you can't tank because you're gonna get fined as a player. So you still got to play hard.
Yeah. And then maybe if you curb, like, let's say if you find them for, like, if you find a team for, let's say, sitting players during that period, if let's say they're 2-24 and they're like, well, we're going to preserve, because I think with the tanking piece, you got to curb that. Because with the NHL, for example, like you could tank, but it doesn't guarantee you anything. Because even if you're the worst record, it doesn't guarantee you the first overall pick. Right. Because it's all a lottery system, right? So, and guys are still going to play hard regardless because there's no guarantee. And also because of the NHL is they have the minor league system and the pay is different. So players don't want to go down finally because that check is different. With the NBA, I don't know if that's necessarily the case because most of those guys on the NBA rosters, they're not, most of them are on regular deals. It's only the odd player on a two-way deal. With the NHL,
Yeah.
like that. First round pick, he ain't playing good enough. They'll send his ass down to minors. That check is not the same. Baseball is the same shit. That's why it's baseball. That's why them guys are juicing, because I'm not trying to go down.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Hell no, I have juicing. I have taken all the HGH and steroids, because you ain't sending me down to like AAA or AA, wherever, Omaha, and I got to sit here with random players that are going to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm making like $60-some thousand. No. Give me all the millions. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the NBA needs to look into that for the offseason. Hopefully they'll make some changes. I think shortening the season, I mean, I think people's attention spans also aren't like what they used to be either. So I think shortening the season would probably be better from a fan perspective, because fans don't really care about 82 games. I don't think it makes much of a difference. And again, with COVID, it showed that how many games they played during your COVID and Laker championship.
I think it was like 60 something.
Well, there you go. And it was somewhat compelling, I guess, in the bubble. I don't know. I didn't really find it compelling, but some people found it compelling.
I mean, probably fans of the teams that made it.
My team made it. I didn't find it compelling. I mean, the Raptors, we were still good. This was the year after the Kawhi, so we were still good. But the bubble was weird to me. I didn't really care for the bubble.
No fans.
It was just odd. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was trash. But I'm sure the Lakers fans, not expelling you from that, enjoyed because you clearly you have an asterisk on that championship. So
absolutely. Because I'm not a fan, right? I'm an educated fan, and I look at things differently.
As am I.
I don't just take it for what it is. I look inside of it. LeBron controlling the organization was ridiculous. Them drafting Lonzo Ball was ridiculous when they could have got the dude. They could have got the guy from Kentucky.
They could have.
And from that point on, when they let Lonzo Ball father control what happened, it was out of shape in the workout and everything. You still drafted him, thanks to Magic Johnson. Like, what was you thinking?
Yeah.
And from that point on, it's been a disaster. They had Brandon Ingram.
They did. Right? Now we have him. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, they had Brandon Ingram. They had a whole young nucleus where they could have kind of formed that to like an OKC.
Okay.
Then they come in and they trade everybody away
together.
LeBron.
Yep.
Who, as I told you how I described him last week, you laughed. So and then you allow LeBron to tell other teams not to draft their son, but his son only averaged 2.5 points in the college.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a guy average 2.5 points and get drafted?
Absolutely not. Now, I think with Bronny, this is my take. Bronny, I think there's a lot of context with Bronny, because you can make the argument for or against. Now, for me personally, Bronny did not show anything or do anything for me personally to warrant him being drafted at all in the NBA draft. I didn't see anything at him in USC flashing or all this stuff. Like, I didn't see it. I understand he was on a minutes restriction, or probably because he had the cardiac arrest the year prior, so they didn't want to play him as much. That's fine. Now, we all understand that LeBron, nepotism played a part in that. I'm not going to crush LeBron for that, because, again, he wanted to play with his son. Fine. Where I had a problem was when JJ Redick said that Bronny earned the right to be drafted. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's complete and utter lunacy, and now you're insulting people's intelligence, because Bronny did not earn the right to be drafted. Now, I said, the plan. What is your plan for Bronny? Like, where does he fit with the Lakers? Is because, again, Bron. What do you, in terms of you as like watching the Lakers, how long do you feel LeBron is realistically going to play for? Like, if you had to say right now.
His last year.
You think this is his last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So next year he's gone, hypothetically. You still have his son on the roster. What is your plan for him? Like, what do you see him fitting with your roster? You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of the problem, and that's the problem to me. And I think
he'll never be able to play usual minutes with Giannis coming and all these other players coming in the offseason to play with Luka.
They're speaking it into existence. He's speaking Giannis
to play with Luka.
Sure.
Because they're not going to leave Luka over there by himself. So it's going to be several moves. Once LeBron goes home to Maui or Long Beach or wherever he's living at, right? He can go home Long Beach, and he actually went to those Diddy parties, so he's probably high. They had him on a video like ain't nothing like a Diddy party, but you see he ain't said nothing since though, right?
Oh no, he's got that. Yeah, well, listen, I think
So,
anybody out that said been to Diddy parties are keeping their mouth shut about that. I think Jadakiss is the only one that said that he went to a Diddy party and he didn't see all the craziness going on. But that's
he
neither here
probably
nor
left early though.
you probably. I'd hope. Listen, I'd leave this. Everyone left early, but no, I agree. So you give Bronny a year. Bronny, I guess, will be released. I guess after. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess his career is done because I don't see a team signing his ass. Because I think it was funny that they were saying, "Don't draft my son." Were teams like clamoring to draft Bronny? I didn't see this buzz. I know that ESPN was trying to push him into the first round for some reason, Bronny, which I thought was complete and utter lunacy. But yeah,
what I heard was that teams thought if they drafted Bronny, LeBron would come.
but I mean, why would you? I mean, this isn't 2017 LeBron though. Even I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like this is 2025 LeBron. Like LeBron's fine. He's played fine this year. He's been good, but LeBron's older. I'm not. I mean, this isn't like I don't feel like LeBron has that same pull that he had. I mean, he has the pull with the Lakers. Obviously, he has y'all by the balls or whatever because he's basically telling y'all what to do. But I don't know if he has that same pull around the NBA. Is what I'm saying. With the Lakers, he does clearly because I don't know why he's.
I don't think he has any pull now because he didn't know about the Luka trade, right? Anthony Davis is his friend, so
and Lucas and Bronny's obviously his son, so he
So he didn't know anything. He didn't know anything about the trade, right? Because the trade was done behind closed doors or whatever. He probably.
Do you think he would have? Do you think hypothetically he would have okayed that trade if he wasn't, let's say, brought into the fold?
No, I mean Anthony Davis is his buddy. I don't think so.
So you said yeah. I did think about that too. I think
that's why right now he's not. He was controlling before, which I thought was ridiculous, but now he isn't. And when I say that some teams were trying to think about LeBron, some teams are only concerned about selling tickets. They said when he left Cleveland.
Yeah, they lost a lot of money.
The whole downtown, nobody would even come downtown to eat. But when he came back, it was a $35 to $50 million increase for all the restaurants and stuff downtown.
No, I agree because he has that pull, fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you if you like LeBron or not. So I agree with that definitely. That's why they want the Lakers in the finals this year. They would listen. Adam Silver would sell his son if he had I don't know if he has children, but he would probably sell his child if they can get a Lakers Celtics finals this year. Like the storylines and everything, the Boston repeat. Could Boston repeat Luka and LeBron Lakers? And they would show all the old montages of all the players and stuff. It would ratings bonanza. Everyone would lose their mind because most people hate LeBron, so they'd want to see LeBron lose in the finals, so they can go on social media and say how much of a trash ass player he is. Or if they win, his fans would be like, LeBron is the GOAT, and everyone who says he's not is an idiot and they're a hater. You know how this is how it goes.
That's the exact thing that will happen. But of course, you see what the NBA is doing. The Celtics wasn't good at one point in time. Now they're good. The Knicks wasn't good at one point in time.
Now they're good.
The only team that's not standing up to par is Philadelphia. Because
that's true.
Back in the day, it was Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Lakers.
Yeah.
Cleveland was good.
Yeah, the Bulls were rebuilding. Yeah.
And in Cleveland was good too.
Cleveland had some good seasons here and there. Obviously the Bulls and Michael Jordan, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they want. Major cities with good teams, major production, major money. That's what they want.
They got that's what sells.
Yeah.
It's not about just being good. You have to be good at, because even look at the NCAA. I remember the one year when I think Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina didn't make the tournament. I didn't even watch because I'm like, why am I watching this?
A lot of Gonzaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga. I mean, Gonzaga's cool. Baylor's cool. All these other blue teams are cool, but like the fans, you got to get the casuals in there. The casuals they're the ones that drive the shit. They know that they're gonna get suckers like me and you to watch. They know that already. We got y'all money. We want the newbies to watch. We want y'all the casual people to watch.
Ironically, Kansas and North Carolina are terrible this year.
They are.
Yeah, so you might have
St. John's is like really good, like
because of Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino is the only reason. Yeah, Rick Pitino is out here. I didn't even realize how good they were until like 3 weeks ago. I was like, oh, they're good. They're like 7th ranked in the country.
Once I heard Rick Pitino He went to Louisville, was a winner.
Well,
They pushed him out of there. He went to Iona. You know, you don't hear about them. He had them. He had them in contention.
Yeah.
So I said, once he take that St. John's, give him 2 years, and they'll be right there. Number 7 in the league.
And now he's like, I'm not even taking high school kids. He's like, I'm not gonna bother. Which I think, you know what? I like that approach because I think his coaching style is great, but I don't know if it works with these young ass kids, at least right now. And again, I think with older players, I think he can. Those players will be more receptive the way he coaches because he's going to coach them hard. He's like, listen, we're playing full press, full court press. You can't play full court press. You're asking me to sit next to me because they play full court press on defense. Like, and he's been running that since Kentucky, and he has not changed. And that's the one thing.
I didn't even mention Kentucky because he won there as well.
He won there in Kentucky too. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, that he full court press. That's his defense. And he runs that like all the time. He does not. So you better.
What coach goes from Kentucky to Louisville?
Not too many.
Yeah, I don't know of any. And won in both places. And
won in both places. And established, won national championships at both. So, Pitino is definitely one of the greats, no doubt about it. He flamed out in the NBA. But, listen, sometimes the NBA doesn't. He tried to take that same college form of the NBA. It didn't work. But he's a college coach, and that's okay. It's okay to be a college coach. It's okay to stay in your lane. So, kudos to them. They won the Big 12. I think they won the Big East yesterday officially now. So, the Big East champs, which is insane to me. But it's good. St. John's in New York. Big market.
Big market.
Queens.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how big market places always find a way?
See, you're
Isn't
just
that kind of curious though?
See, you see, Smooth is just a fan, is like a big market fanboy right here. He likes all the big teams. He likes the Philadelphia Eagles, big market, correct? They're not a big market. They're a big market.
That's not a huge market.
It's a fairly big market. Not huge. They're fairly established.
It's not huge.
They're not a big market. Your psychotic ass fans, they're not okay. That is
I don't even
agree with that.
It's not like Dallas.
But they're just. I think you're selling your fan base and your team short. They are a big market.
No. What I'm saying is, when you think about Philadelphia, as football, it's not like one of the top markets out there. They don't put them at the top.
I disagree. I will disagree with you there. I think they are.
Now, you can say I like the Eagles. I don't think it's a big market. Lakers, big market.
Absolutely.
I'll take it.
North Carolina, big market. North
Carolina is just a good team.
But they're a big they're a blue blood.
They're blue blood. I give you that.
They are a blue blood. Okay.
Florida State.
Football? Okay. Absolute blue blood. Like when they're good, yeah.
But it's not my fault because I became a fan of these places.
It's just you like rooting for the front running. That's all. It's okay. You like the front running.
Never.
Like front runner.
Eagles never been front runners though. I've been liking them for a while. Lakers had a time, and then they went through transition.
And now they're front running. They're third or fourth in the East right now. So they're
not front running. Okay.
Obviously they're what?
OKC is front running because they're in first place. It's not front running. Florida State is terrible right now. North Carolina is terrible right now. So
North Carolina is like 19-11. They're not that bad.
They're not ranked.
They can still make the tourney.
When have you seen a blue blood not be ranked?
Michigan
college basketball. Kansas not ranked either. They getting blown up.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Kansas is. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with Kansas. I'm surprised Kansas is not good.
I'm nowhere near a front runner at all.
You're a half front runner. You're like halfway runner. You're halfway. You're a halfway runner.
Think about this. Everybody used to rag me about my Eagles because they never won a championship. That's what they would say. You never won a Super Bowl.
This is true. Because at the time they had not won a Super Bowl. That is fair.
And a whole bunch of Cowboy fans, Ravens fans, Commanders fans, Giants fans, all in the same division. The Giants, Cowboys, and the Eagles.
Correct. They're all in the same division.
So I had fans from all of them, and all they would do is say to me, "You haven't won. You haven't won."
That is true.
I don't hear them saying anything now. Though.
Well, obviously they can't because you guys did win the Super Bowl about a month ago.
And technically, we won. We won before it was called a Super Bowl. So if they want to be technical about it,
okay,
we should have never been on the list. If they want to be technical, But I mean, that's for another day, though, right?
We can do that another day. We can do that. See, I'm in Toronto, so we're always the underdog. We're underdog stay. Well, maybe not the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs, for some reason, they always put the Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup. Why, I don't know. But Blue Jays, well, we're shit. I'm like,
But y'all wasn't always the underdog, though.
What, the Blue Jays?
Yeah, y'all wasn't always.
Yeah, in the early '90s when we won their back-to-back championship. That's right. If you're talking about then, yes.
So Toronto's been a good team in baseball. What I can remember.
Back in the '90s, yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And Toronto Raptors is a franchise, right? You know, you came on after. You haven't been around the whole time. So
we came around in 95, 96. So we just hit 30 years this year.
Yeah, y'all came around after, right?
Yes, 30 years. Yeah, so about 30 years. Yeah, so that's not a long time.
Exactly. You're a Tennessee Titans fan. They've had success.
We're not front running. We can't say that. We're the first overall pick. If we're front running from first overall pick, then yes.
So the Eagles just became a team. No, the Eagles have always been pretty good, though. Pretty solid.
Solid, yes. I would agree with that, yeah.
But they've playoff
team consistently, yeah.
Yeah, they've never been front runners, though. You don't never, even this year, did anybody say about the Eagles winning? Nobody.
Well, the Chiefs mostly, they were talking about the three-peat, right? That's what they were focused on. But I mean, in terms of coming, I'm trying to think. I would say in terms of coming out the NFC, no, they were picking mostly the Lions.
The Lions.
That was
in San Francisco before the year started.
And San Francisco, yeah, they were probably.
They had us like third or fourth, right?
Well, in fairness, y'all fell apart the year before. Y'all went from 10-1, and then y'all fell apart. So that was valid
But San Francisco wasn't that good the year before, though.
San Francisco went to the Super Bowl the year before.
Oh, they
were a Super Bowl.
And Detroit lost to
San Francisco. That is correct.
And they should have beat San Francisco because of Dan Campbell call.
They should have. Yes.
But regardless of that, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
They still had them as front runners, even though if you look at the Eagles roster, it's better than both of those. Once Saquon came over, and they didn't really think Saquon was going to be this big of a difference, though.
No, I don't think anyone. I think people thought he would be good, but they didn't think this. They didn't think he'd almost break the rushing record. Good, no.
So I'll disagree.
You're somewhat of that's fine. You can disagree all you want. I'm just telling you.
I'm not a front runner.
Of course, you want to maintain this humble image that you want to present to the public, but in reality, as I've known you for 3 years, I think you slightly kind of. Well, we'll see. You know what? We'll see when the playoffs come with your Lakers. We'll see how your Lakers fare. So, who do you think is coming out the Western Lakers? Because I picked OKC. Who do you got? Or you're picking your team?
Maybe Denver. I think they fell off last year.
They did fall off last year,
and they have a culture there. The Coach Malone knows how to win.
Jokic, obviously.
Jokic. And you have these players that already won.
And
Westbrook. I think maybe Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on that pick. That's a good pick. That's a solid pick. I mean, I picked them last. I thought they were going to get. I mean, it was either going to be Denver or OKC. I was picking. I mean, I thought Denver going into the playoffs. I thought we were going to win, but then as the playoffs kind of progressed, I thought I'm just not liking the way Denver was playing. So even though they did beat your team a few times, they did sweep your team.
Man, listen, I'm not a fan. That doesn't bother me.
I know it doesn't bother. I'm just stating what actually occurred in the games.
Literally, I was really focused on my Eagles this year, right?
That's where you're fixated on?
Yeah, that's what I was focused on, right?
Yeah.
Because of all the hate that they gave Jalen and all the disrespect of Saquon. So that's where I was at. And then all the people that wanted to talk so much trash about us falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got Vic Fangio and we got Kellen Moore, now we got competent people in those positions.
Well, Kellen Moore is now with the Saints, so now you have to figure that out. Who's your OC now? Have you figured that out?
Yeah, we promoted Petula.
I'm sorry, who's that?
We just hired Bowling Green's head coach to be our quarterback coach.
Okay, well there you go. Super Bowl champs again next year. Well, I mean, listen. In fairness to you, I'm honestly focused on my Michigan Wolverines right now. That's where my bread is buttered right now. That's where my focus is. I saw LeBron yesterday take a photo with our number one recruit quarterback Bryce Underwood yesterday. And I made a post saying that he's not coming to the Ohio State LeBron. So just so you know, he's staying in Michigan. So you need to
Now
look out for
LeBron
that.
is a front runner. LeBron is a front runner. See, that's the cool way to put
Now
it.
we can agree on that. LeBron, yeah, LeBron's a front runner. It's not, it's okay. LeBron can be a front runner,
Yeah,
but we gotta, because people say, well, then what's the big deal about him being a front runner? It's fine.
right.
He can be a front runner, but just he's got to own. You got to own the fact that he is that. He landed
Exactly.
on, like Jim Harbaugh said, some people land on third base. They didn't hit no home run. They hit hit like like a little soft dribbler that kind of like went out into the outfield, and they just
Yeah.
happened to get the third base. They didn't like, you know what I'm saying?
Or
So,
the outfielder made an error.
or the
Just like
outfield made error. In some
yeah,
cases, the
yeah,
outfield made error, and listen, that happens.
a
You know,
lot.
a
You know?
lot. We just don't want to. Sometimes you just don't want to admit it. We're painfully stubborn sometimes as fans. So especially like LeBron fans, they're very painfully stubborn at times.
I'm not a LeBron fan, so
Oh, I know. It's interesting that you brought up about your Lakers in terms of like the young core and then kind of getting rid of the young core. Because it's always like I find with sports, it's always like two schools of thought. Because everyone has that narrative, like, you want to build young through the draft, but then you have some fans that are like, I want to win now, go get guys so we can win now, right? Like, I feel for me, it just depends on the circumstance. I feel like with the Lakers, to your point, it would have been nice to have seen if they kept like Ball and Ingram and the young core and see how if they could grow. But I just feel like with the Lakers, there's pressure to win. Like they're always in win now mode, so there is no time to develop and wait, which kind of sucks for your franchise because you're always in win now mode. And now with Luka, I mean Luka's young, so that's the good thing. You're not getting Luka on the back end; you're getting him in his prime. So now it's just like, where you're good. And then, it just kind of sucks, unfortunately, because you don't really see that. Like with OKC, Houston's and Detroit even now killing it right now. I think Detroit's won like 8, 9 games in a row. But again, those fan bases and the ownership said, okay, we're going to build through the draft and develop and take our lumps. But a lot of these other teams, they just don't have that luxury to do. Like right now with Toronto, that's what we're doing. So, and I think so far, I mean, people say that we're the best, worst team in the league, which I don't know what the hell that even means. So, but whatever.
but it all goes back to the franchise and the money you have. Like we talked
Yeah.
about last week. If you have the money, you can make these big swings. OKC couldn't make any big swings. That's why they couldn't keep their core together because they didn't have the revenue.
That's true. That's why James Harden left because of money.
Yeah, that's why all of them left. Eventually. I mean, because they had James Harden as a six man. They should have won one in OKC. I told you about the politics with
I know. Yeah, you did.
Miami.
You did break that
So
down. I mean, I think if they kept that core, I mean, if they kept that core together and they had grown, I think they could have certainly won one or at least got to another finals for sure. At least with that core, because that core was stacked. I mean, KD was in his prime. Russ was good. I mean, James was hitting his stride. They had Ibaka, Serge Ibaka, doing his thing too. So yeah, no, I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with you there. I think they could have certainly won at that time, but it was just politics and stuff. So them's the breaks.
yeah, exactly. So hopefully next week we'll have VO.
Hopefully we'll have VO. Well, we're gonna. This is like this is like the Amon Ra podcast when they were trying to shame Jameson Williams to get on. We're gonna shame VO to get on. I'm gonna send him text messages. You send him as well to shame his
Yeah,
ass to get on next week. Hopefully we'll get on. But this is the originals podcast. So actually, before we go, let's kind of give. Actually, Smooth came up with the name for our pod. So Smooth, can you tell the lovely audience what kind of made you come up with the idea and or the name for originals specifically?
absolutely. It just came to me. I know that we are individuals by nature and we're original. We don't copy off anybody and we're going to do it our way. So I thought the term on the name originals, the originals would be perfect for our sports podcast. So I'm hoping everybody, embraces that and embrace us and then come in and join us, right? Like, share, subscribe, and help us help you.
Yes, because again, if we don't do hot takes here. So if you want hot take stuff, go watch First Take. First Take is for you. If you want actually in-depth, good conversations about sports and other things, come holler at us on the originals. It will be, like I said, me and Smooth are going to be here every Sunday from
Every Sunday.
every Sunday we're going to be here. VO, hopefully, our other guy, once he comes on, it'll be all three of us. Listen, me and you're going to hold it down until it gets to the full team. That's how it goes. Sometimes you got a player that's injured or he's out, whatever, and we got to step up. We're stepping up right now. Once our guy
Exactly.
comes in, he comes off, then we're going to be hitting the ground running and we're going to be killing it at that point. So,
And
absolutely.
possibly we'll bring some other guys that we met on halftime.
Absolutely. I was thinking that too. We're going to kind of have a rotating
Yeah,
door of people that will come in and we'll have our little takes on sports and all that stuff. So stay tuned, people, because we're going to be
stay
coming with
tuned.
some good stuff. So this is just the
Absolutely.
beginning. This is only the beginning now. Okay. Now we figured it out. Last week was a little bit of a trial run. We missed like a good hour, like 3 hours of the that we did not record, but we got all of it recorded now. So stay tuned again. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. We have an Instagram, like I said, so I'm going to be posting little shorts on there, little clips as well. Also, any updates that are coming up, we'll try to post it on there as well. And we have a YouTube channel as well, so definitely check that out as well. If you want the full podcast, you can check out our YouTube channel. A TikTok is coming shortly. I'm going to get that going. Okay. We'll get some other social medias and all that fun stuff. Eventually, we'll try to move it to audio as well, so get it on Spotify and Apple. I don't know how to do that yet. Still working on that, but we're gonna get all that. We're gonna get it all cracking. We're gonna create it, and it's gonna be hidden soon enough. So stay tuned, people. Any final words before we sign off, sir?
Nah, just stay tuned for more of the originals.
Hey, that's it. I don't need to say anything more. So stay tuned. Next week we'll be back in here with some more topics. So stay tuned. Take care, y'all. We're out. Peace.
Peace out.